Welcome back to another episode of It's All Been Trekked Before. This time, tomorrow is yesterday. Yeah, it's confusing. Just wait till we talk about it. We'll straighten it all out for you. After this, check out some other thing on the It's All Been Trekked Before network. How about checking out the IABD shop? Get some cool swag. Support us and look really cool doing it. Maybe you look nerdy, which is now the new cool. So check that out, the IABD shop at IABDpresents.com. Also, our home theater, Mad Lab Theater, this weekend you can check out the last weekend of Theaterlet 2017. And so if you're listening to this on the 25th, there's a set of shows tonight. 26th, another set of shows. 27th, Memorial Day weekend, that Saturday, you can see all the shows beginning at 2, 4, and 8. So please check that out. And, even beyond that, check out The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky. Nick Arganbright's been doing it a long time. Still good, still bad, still geeky. And, it's summer blockbuster season, so, he's going to have a lot to talk about. So go check that out. The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky. It's all here on IABDpresents.com. Just like tomorrow is yesterday, tomorrow is next week. No, the episode is Tomorrow is Yesterday here on It's All Been Trekked Before. You ready? Yeah.
Get it over with. Welcome to another episode of It's All Been Trekked Before. A couple of your regular hosts are here.
Yes. Steven here.
And Jimmy-Jerome. We just watched Tomorrow is Yesterday. A title that makes no sense.
No.
For an episode that makes no sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues going on here.
I mean, the whole thing was almost one giant issue. Like, there were lots of little issues.
Yes.
But I'm hard-pressed to find many parts that I'm like, that was a great part.
And it was originally, part 2 of...
Yeah, it was
The Naked Time?
Yeah, one
right?
of those. I don't remember which one, but yeah. I mean...
Not that would have made it make any more sense.
No, not at all.
But I just... Wow.
I mean, DC Fontana wrote this, and I'm pretty sure she writes good stuff later.
Yeah, it's... In some ways, it's... I don't know if fun's the right word, because it's almost a comedic episode. It has its moments, but...
So... Yeah, I was looking to see what other episodes she wrote, because I'm just like, what the heck? She wrote 11 episodes of the original series. Charlie X.
Okay.
Which was another terrible one. This Side of Paradise.
All right.
Cat's Paw.
Mm-hmm.
Friday's Child. Not great episodes for
Not
the
yet,
most part. Our Journey to Babel.
Oh, yeah.
That one was good.
Yeah.
But most of the ones she wrote, I'm looking at them and I'm like, oh, why did I think she was great? I mean, she also wrote several episodes of The Next Generation, including Encounter at Farpoint.
Oh, wow.
At least one of the writers of it.
All right.
Yeah, and an episode of Deep Space Nine. But, yeah, so let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
So the beginning was weird because... I thought it was weird because they showed all the Earth stuff going on.
Right.
And then when we picked up the Enterprise, everything was over. Like they were picking themselves back up.
Yeah, it's weird because it's almost... When they start with that other stuff, it's not like they were fooling anyone. Everyone knew they had it on the right channel.
Sure.
They're watching Star Trek. And I thought it was weird when they picked everybody up. One, Kirk and Spock got thrown around but weren't hurt.
Of course.
They pick Uhura up, who's been unconscious, it appears.
Yes.
And they set her right back down and get her to work. Apparently there's no concussion protocol in the 23rd century.
Concussions are extinct by then.
They figured it out.
Yeah, you didn't know?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they eradicated it like AIDS or something.
And that also brings it to the one of the fashion things. Since Amanda isn't here, we'll get right into fashion. Somehow her skirt got even shorter this episode. It was...
Who knew if that was possible?
I did not think, but yet again, because half the time you're seeing not right up it, but under it for sure. But, the only other fashion thing was, I thought the Air Force uniforms looked almost purple. I don't know if it's with the new effect, or maybe it's my eyes, but that's about all. There wasn't, and I like the berets.
Yeah, the berets
I
are
think
cool.
Amanda will enjoy those when she watches this episode.
I'd say the comment I had for the fashion section was, why the heck did they put Captain Christopher in a lieutenant's uniform? I know they have casual wear on the Enterprise.
Right.
So why would you give him a uniform?
They wanted to treat him with respect since he was a captain, right?
He was, but they gave him lieutenant braid on the sleeve.
They didn't want to give him that much respect.
Well, yeah, it just... I feel like there would be military rules that you couldn't just let anybody wear a uniform.
That would make sense.
I mean, nowadays, if you were like hanging out with the army, they're not going to let you wear a uniform.
There was a lot of flouting of convention.
Oh, just a little bit. Just a little bit. And real quick, while we're talking about uniforms, something that bothered me was Kirk introduced Spock as Lieutenant Commander Spock.
Yeah.
Even though his braids on his sleeve are clearly Commander.
Huh.
Not Lieutenant Commander.
That is weird.
So Kirk got Spock's rank wrong?
Maybe is this an alternate universe episode? The entire thing.
The whole thing didn't happen in the regular time stream. Well, so somehow when they returned Christopher and the other guy back, it never happened for them and they didn't remember anything.
Right.
So, but the Enterprise, when they returned themselves back, they remember everything.
Yeah, and somehow they get beamed
into themselves.
Do they replace them? Because like you said, they didn't get the
what
original
they
body.
did was they beamed up the past version and murdered them, and then replaced them.
All right. They just never had. They scrambled those molecules and just left them out there.
Sure. I guess. I mean,
and
the whole thing.
I mean, if we're gonna come up with a plausible anything that, it's gonna be hard to find something plausible. But I suppose they could have. Because we've talked about the transporter technology, and essentially it
kills you.
And so you knew you every time. So
then why did they even need to put the old ones back? Why not just murder the ones that were on the Enterprise?
Yeah, because that never would have happened.
Because it would have never happened.
And then,
right,
and then current. Oh yeah, and then you could just beam the current guy in, and kill him.
Right,
but he's not really dead because he's.
I mean, the fact that they were beaming them aboard anyway was so stupid.
Right.
Like, when his ship was breaking apart, which, first of all, they didn't even stop to, hey, let's just throw a tractor beam out there without thinking about it.
Right.
When a ship's breaking apart, it's not like, let's beam him to the ground. Let's beam him to the starship, then give him a tour, show him everything, tell him to look around.
Well, and they were worried about him attacking them or using weapons, but if you put him in a tractor beam, he can... Then I feel like he'd be more inclined to use his weapons. But.
And I feel like if you just put your shields up, you don't need to worry.
I mean,
his missiles aren't going to get through your shields.
They probably had enough power, right?
I would think so. They had enough power for a lot of other things.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing just...
It's obviously... I mean, the whole idea of the episode was a device to get them back to Earth.
Yeah.
Which is, interesting in some ways. And
probably saved budget.
Yeah. Because, that set was... That was a... I know Air Force bases probably weren't as exciting back then as they are now, but it looked like a very mundane... Granted, it was in Nebraska.
But you notice the hallway wasn't straight. Just like on the Enterprise, the hallway zigzags.
Right. You're right.
So that you don't have to show down the long distance.
This is true. And they get there because of a black star, right?
Sure. It yanked on them.
Which... I don't know the science of a black star.
I have never heard of a black star.
I know there's a song by Radiohead and a song by David Bowie, and I think an album by David Bowie, his final album. But
when I Google Black Star, I see the album.
I figured that's what would come up.
And the rap duo.
Oh, yeah.
I do not see anything scientifically related on what a black star is.
I also enjoyed the stock footage at the top and in the episode of... a building in Nebraska as the Air Force base, and the airplane's taken off, or his jet plane taken off to his fighter jet going off. And I think at the beginning of the episode it's the guy from the racist navigator from Balance of Terror. I think he was playing the guy on the base. He's somebody on the base. And I can't remember.
I don't know.
Right at the top. It might have been... maybe it was Hal Lynch? I don't...
Frank Da Vinci, maybe?
Oh, maybe that's
seen that name before. Let me see what his credits are. And he's been in Star Trek. He was a crewman. He was in 53 episodes.
Oh, okay.
Crewman. But you were talking about Balance of Terror specifically.
I thought it was him.
He played a crewman in Balance of Terror.
Okay, well, maybe it wasn't him.
No. I'm not sure. I'm not recognizing any of the other names off the top of my head, but I'm not saying you're wrong.
No, I very well could be.
You could also very well be right. Yeah, so the time travel made no sense. They didn't even try to make it. And one thing that bothered me too was Spock's like, well, I'm doing calculations, and Scotty's like, yeah, I think things are going to break apart because, whatever. And Kirk's like, well, we got to take a chance. And I'm like, no, well, what's your hurry? Why can't you take a couple weeks to reinforce everything?
Right.
Really think it through.
It doesn't have to happen right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, if you're traveling in time, there's no urgency.
Well, and yeah, they weren't going to run out of power in 12 days
No.
or even that soon. So, yeah, I mean, logically, they had alternatives, but
Spock his logic circuit was broken or something.
apparently,
As broken as the computer.
Yeah, there were so many, just, I don't know if weird's the right word, comedic. A lot of the episode's funny, but some of it's unintentionally funny. And the whole slingshot effect thing, and I've used that as a term for years if I'm running late somewhere. Like, the only way I'm going to make it is if I slingshot past the sun.
Which they do a lot more effectively in other Star Trek episodes.
Yes.
This one's all messed up, but I mean, Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home.
Right.
They do it.
Yes.
I could be wrong, but it seems to me it made sense when they did it then.
Yeah, well, I don't think they beamed anyone into their own body or whatever,
too.
right? Yeah,
that's true.
So, it was in a couple other episodes. It was in that, but I also I didn't realize it until now that it's also the Ferris Bueller effect because they got the time to go backwards, which Ferris Bueller was not able to do.
Yeah, because your clock would just start going backwards.
Oh, sure, because that's how it works, right?
I mean,
it was, yeah.
I made a lot of unhappy noises during this episode.
Yeah, and there's, like I said, the interplay with those guys going back and having experiences with that time, some of that was funny. I like when Spock he's looking at the film, and I was thinking it, and he said he's like, poor photography, which...
I mean, I honestly had a hard time enjoying what should have been funny because even within those funny scenes, there were so many plot holes that I was like,
yeah,
I'm so upset that I can't enjoy what they want me to enjoy.
Well, and yeah, they start off with, well, we can't send him back. Well, now we can because Spock missed some. And yeah, I don't know. Well, and as we said, the fact that he was beamed or disappeared, I think, would have some significance. Or that he just disappeared. Either way, they've changed history.
So Spock made a mistake by not calculating the child, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then
he made a lot of mistakes.
And then first of all, they told Christopher to look around at everything.
Right.
And then they said, no, we can't tell you things because we don't want to spoil the future, even though we let you look at everything. And then they're telling about his son, like, this is your son's name, and this is what your son does.
Right.
And stop!
Yeah.
Just stop!
It was like they already knew that, well, we'll come up with something to completely fix this. So, but yeah, a lot of suspension of disbelief, even in the fake future universe, is required.
Well, and people acting out of character left and right.
Yes.
So Kirk, I know he takes action, but he usually has some logic and thinking behind it, which he didn't this time.
No.
Spock is missing obvious logical things. McCoy is yelling for no reason at things. Sulu is there the whole time with no lines practically.
Nope.
Just set dressing.
He's just very excited to be on Earth and very
fascinated with corkboards on the wall.
Yeah, he touches, and the fire alarm.
I saw him caress the fire alarm lovingly. And the part where they're like, Christopher's like, okay, I know where Kirk's going to be held. I'm not going to tell you the coordinates until you let me know. And then they beam down the exact same place they beamed down before. So I don't know how secretive those coordinates were.
Well, thank God they had him there. Yeah.
And they don't take any precautions to spy or get anything.
Nope.
Like, you can't just beam up the filing cabinet, take the files out, and bring it back down.
Right. Why would hey, we got it. Beam it up. Yeah.
Or, release some kind of knockout gas through the base and go in and...
And I get they beam down, but yeah, the fact that security isn't there quicker as soon as they open that door. And I like their little device to open the door is
their sonic screwdriver?
Yeah, it's different from a... it's like a credit card
They got it from Doctor Who. The sonic screwdriver.
There you go, yeah. Yeah, that was a nice convenient device to have.
Do you like his flashlight?
Yeah. Yes. I think it was Christopher said early on, Kirk says, "Oh, we had an accident." And then he says, "You seem to have a lot of those," which is, I think, is this whole episode is like, we screwed up. Oops, we screwed up.
After accident.
If we hadn't done all these, we wouldn't have an episode.
Oh, I missed that line. That makes everything work now.
Well, yeah.
No. Christopher was played by Roger Perry, who was in a number of episodes of Falcon Crest, Facts of Life, Barnaby Jones.
Yeah, he did a lot of
lot of guest star spots. Almost always like different characters. He did some Love American Style.
He was married to Joanne Worley of Laugh-In fame.
Ah.
And then Joyce Bulifant. I think is he still alive? I think he's still alive.
Just born in 1933.
So he's still married to Joyce Bulifant,
Since 2002.
who did a lot of guest stuff in the 70s, 80s, and she's maybe best known. She's the mother of the sick kid in Airplane.
Ah,
yeah,
I do remember the mother.
Yeah,
Joanne Worley. I was looking at her. She's known for lots of stuff, but
I think she was the Socket to Me girl, or one of them.
She was the wardrobe of Beauty and the Beast.
Huh.
And in some video games and stuff. She was in Love Boat, Wuzzles.
Oh, yeah.
Hippopotamus and the Wuzzles. I don't know. Also in Love American Style.
Oh, yeah.
66 episodes of Rowan and Martin's Laughing.
There you go.
So, that's... I mean, it looks like Roger Perry had, like, one sitcom before Star Trek in the early 60s.
Yeah.
That must have been what people would have known him from. I don't think he was very memorable in the role. I don't find him particularly compelling.
I remembered him, and maybe it's because I saw him in a lot of other guest spots, or I just remember this episode. And I always, when I think of this episode, I mix it up with Assignment Earth.
I like Assignment Earth so much better.
I probably do too.
I actually like that episode, which was a
pilot
spinoff. Yeah.
And part of that's probably because Terry Garr's in that episode.
Yeah, she's great.
She would have been great here. She would have been very helpful.
She would have been. No, that episode's great. I think we'll reflect when we get to it, but my memory of that episode is great. My memory of this episode is I watched it once and thought it was absolutely god-awful.
Yeah. Well, and when Spock announces that or when Kirk's like, well, that happened in the 1960s, Spock is completely unfazed by the fact that they've gone back 300. He's not even a fascinating, just yeah.
I will say the one joke that landed for me was when Christopher's like talking about little green men coming up to the bridge, and then the doors open and Spock's standing
that
there.
is a good.
That was
bit.
funny.
That's
the only part that landed for me.
You didn't like the Planet of Women who reprogrammed the computer?
No, I did not.
Amanda, this is the sexism talk section just for you.
We need a sexism theme song. I am wearing my Nasty Woman t-shirt.
There we go. Amanda, work on Amanda, girl, sweetheart, will you work on a sexism theme song? Thanks, sweetie.
Amanda, dear. I mean, that was just so ridiculous, unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, give Sulu and Uhura some lines instead of the stupid computer.
And then,
and it wasn't Majel, was it?
Yeah, well, I think it was, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
It was Majel doing a different
doing her
voice.
sexy voice. Yeah, they said, whatever, Signet 14, which I'm glad it wasn't Rigel 14.
Yeah.
But A Planet of Women, and then, okay, all right, so it's one thing if the computer's got a sexy voice now. But then, of course, the woman was calling him dear, and then got upset when he chastised her, because that's what a woman would do.
Personality.
That's true.
I mean,
that's true.
That part isn't a plot hole. It's just dumb.
No, that's just yeah. It could have been a sassy woman. It could have been but I feel like a planet run by women would not give a computer that personality. That's just my belief.
Considering that this episode was written by a woman, though.
Oh, true.
I mean,
this is true.
I don't know. There wasn't really any other objectification. There was one random crew in the hall that got made.
Yeah, well, and they also played just a little bit of va 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 voom music when she walked through.
I like how he was shocked to see her in the hall, not shocked at all to see a black woman on the bridge.
I know, no, not at all.
Well, by then he'd adjusted.
That's right.
Short turbo lift drive.
He adjusted very quickly too.
He did.
He was not shocked or fazed by anything.
Unlike the other guy who just stood there frozen.
Yeah, and was amazed by the chicken soup. And I'm not sure the programming.
Did they take his gun away in the transporter?
Apparently not.
Why did they take his gun away? That bothered me.
I don't know.
Take his gun away. We know transporters can do that.
Sure. And I was fascinated by the what's the food machine
The replicator.
Yeah. Why there's one in the transporter room.
3.
Yeah, 3.
There were 3 because clearly a lot of meals happened there.
And Kyle puts the little floppy disk in there and then asks him what he wants. And he says chicken soup, and then magically chicken soup appears without him pushing any buttons or anything. So while we're on things that don't make any sense in this episode.
So that was John Winston played the transporter chief. And he is credited as Lieutenant Kyle in other episodes. He's just transporter chief in this episode.
Okay.
But Lieutenant Kyle is the transporter.
That is him, right?
So yeah, it's got to be Lieutenant Kyle. Now, see, I enjoyed him because he was very, unfazed. Just here's some soup, whatever.
Yeah.
Kirk's emergency frequency. He's just I'll hit the button. He was just doing his job. I was digging Kyle in this.
Yeah, Kyle's always cool.
Yeah, he actually reprised his role as Kyle in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
And he's in a bunch of episodes of the series. He's got, 11 episodes?
Yeah, he shows up a lot.
Not as many as Eddie Paskey, Lieutenant Leslie, who's credited in 70 episodes, but I think that's wrong. I think IMDb's got it wrong. I don't think he's in 70?
That much. Yeah, I mean...
I'm probably exaggerating, but it's
I feel like maybe he's just around?
I keep seeing him, Eddie Paskey, uncredited at the bottom of every IMDb page. He's 60 episodes. 60 episodes.
Maybe he's just always a crew person somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I have not seen him. And really, if you look at his credits, it's basically Star Trek. He did 3 episodes of Mission Impossible, 1 episode of Dick Van Dyke, 1 episode of Gomer Pyle, and everything else is Star Trek.
I wonder if he was a crew person that just got pulled in.
He was Shatner stand-in.
Oh, that makes sense.
So maybe he actually is in 60 episodes. I don't know.
No, that makes sense.
Ed Peck was the guy in charge of the base.
Okay.
He was police officer in Happy Days. He was in Benson. He's got a bunch of credits, but nothing.
Oh yeah, I guess he usually ended up playing a police officer. Yeah.
Nothing super significant. I'm looking to see what other guest stars do we have. Mark Dempsey played the Air Force captain, and I assume that might be the one that was just frozen in shock, but I'm not sure. He's only got a handful of credits. Most of the IMDb credits are this. They're Air Force captain, air policeman. It just doesn't...
Yeah.
I mean, it could be Jim Spencer, the air policeman, is the one that they caught. I don't know. If it is Jim Spencer, this is his only credit. Just this episode.
Maybe that might be the guys that Kirk gets in the fight with when he does...
I'm not sure.
Jumps and does the flying wedge into them, which was a weird...
When he jumped catch me horizontally? And apparently military men in the 1960s could not fight.
No,
Kirk
I mean...
just was beating 3 of them up at once.
This could not have instilled confidence in our nation and our defense system at the time. Especially, I don't know if maybe it was meant as a commentary on the situation in Vietnam, but I don't know. Didn't seem appropriate.
No.
didn't instill confidence.
That base was horror. I mean, what was the alarm with the photo room in the base?
It eventually went on.
Yeah.
Right?
So they didn't have an alarm. They made a point of saying, you made it all the way to the photo room before you saw an alarm.
Right.
But I'm why is there an alarm on the photo room door?
Yeah, but nowhere else. Yeah, well.
Not the records room, though. The records room doesn't have an alarm. Unless the suction.
Oh, you're right. They got the records and then he went to look at them in the dark room. That's right.
Because there were photos in the dark room they needed.
Well, and I'm also curious about, because doesn't Spock go into the dark room later? So he can
sneak around and get Christopher?
How did he know that he could get around?
I don't know. And the dark room wasn't supposed to have any other way out.
Right. It's a dark room. I wouldn't.
The way Sulu had,
Yeah.
You wouldn't have seen him. You'd seen him walk past. That's what Kirk said when he got caught.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have seen him if he left.
I like Spock's line about "I trust you" to a point or whatever, and that Spock's always thinking, but clearly he was. It was foreshadowing that he would know to.
I didn't even like that line.
Walk on through the door and come back around.
I did not even like that line because I don't think we needed the foreshadowing.
No.
I don't think we needed Christopher to pull the gun. I mean, Christopher was so hot and cold. At one moment he wanted to go back, then he was fine with waiting. Then he wanted to go back, then he was fine. It was just all over the place.
Yeah, because he knew. Well, yeah. Either way, he had to go back.
Yeah. So why did he need to bring a gun and force them to leave him right then, when he knew they were going to send him back?
Because, unless his thought was, well, if I stay up there, I might get killed. But still seems
completely off.
Yeah,
he had no motivation that we could.
There are a lot of leaps in this episode. I like when. I don't know if I like it, but Spock essentially does your line and tells Christopher, "You are nothing." But he tells him he doesn't matter. He's not going to contribute anything worthwhile to the future.
Okay, I did enjoy that. You're not. What was the term he used? I thought the term was wrong. You're not real.
I don't know. It wasn't relevance, or maybe it was significance.
It wasn't relevant, but it started with an R. I don't remember. It was something that I was like, "That's the wrong term. Why is Spock saying that?"
And then Christopher turns it back on him when he.
Yeah.
What is he? Oh, he says, "Well, if I'm stuck here, you're stuck here, or whatever." Is that what he says?
Yeah. Like, oh, at least you're stuck here too. I don't remember the exact words, but. I will say the new effects in this episode.
I was going to say those look tremendous.
The Enterprise going through the atmosphere and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember vaguely in my mind what they look like. We didn't compare them like we sometimes do.
Right. Yeah, the slingshot past the sun looked great. I like the one shot of the Earth and the moon, and it's passing in between. That was really cool. So yeah, those look. I mean, that's the one positive about it.
We're very good.
Yeah, they look great.
For the upgrade
for the new one.
Yeah.
I liked when Christopher, speaking of when he does the plans, they ask him to sketch it, and they hand him the Etch-a-Sketch thing, and he immediately knows how to use it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it had stylus.
Oh, okay.
I'd say that's pretty no-brainer.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's just the way it works, but yeah, he knew.
I liked how Kirk and Sulu were so fascinated by the old computer when their engine room isn't much more advanced. It's not like they had smartphones and Minority Report level graphics.
Yeah. Well, and I figured Sulu would really like the guns because we knew from a couple episodes ago.
That wasn't his hobby this time.
No,
his hobby this time was fire alarms.
Fire alarms and bulletin boards.
They looked at the bulletin and were like, wow, but there were no pictures or anything. It was just paper.
Yeah,
there was like nothing.
Somebody.
Like, oh my god, there's paper on the board.
Need a babysitter kind of thing. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Damn, babysitter.
It was just, you would have thought they didn't seem focused on the task, but yet they weren't that interested in everything other than the bulletin board and
They were just taking their time, having a leisurely stroll down the hallway.
Yeah. Kind of like the security guard who's sent to find Christopher. Uh-huh. And I think he's the security guard that's supposed to find him, and he's just could not be less alert. No. And Christopher knocks him out. I mean, we know the security guards get killed all the time, but this guy might be the worst of the worst.
At least he didn't die.
Fair point. He did not get killed.
He did not.
But yeah. I probably had more fun with this episode than you did.
I think so. It seems like you at least had some amusement.
I was able to look past it at times, but again, we're dealing with a fictional show set in the future, but as we've explained on other episodes, we can explain a lot of things. And this one,
there was just no consistency.
No.
Like, nothing was... even within the episode itself, things didn't line up.
Yeah, I would have rather they spoon-fed me, here is what is happening with this, rather than...
Well, see, the thing is, anytime there's a time travel story, you've always got a certain segment of the population will just complain, oh, time travel makes my head hurt, whatever. Right. But in general, Star Trek handles it very well. The way it's handled in this episode, and is this the first time travel episode they've done?
I think so.
I think so. It's just so bizarrely off.
Yeah.
And, them just, we're going to slingshot around the sun and we can make calculations. I'm like, then why aren't you time traveling, like, all the time?
Right.
And then...
If it seems that...
That's simple.
Yeah.
It just... I am having trouble thinking of more things to say about it because I feel like it's just all bad. Yeah. And it is, like I said, that line about you guys seem to have a lot of accidents, because that's essentially the whole episode is them... One big accident.
Screwing things up repeatedly. And
which is completely out of character.
Yeah. Yeah, usually... the way they beam down, all that stuff, they don't do...
Maybe you were onto something about the concussions.
Maybe
they all had concussions, and this is their fever dream.
Maybe that is it. Yeah, because that was my first thought: is why Uhura's been knocked out, and you're just like back to work. And I guess Spock
bodily lifted her and slammed her into her chair. wasn't anything gentle or caring.
No.
It was just, let me live
Back to work.
Yeah.
Which I guess, in space and you're on a starship, like sometimes you have to do that. But I would think at some point they would have got her checked out. But no.
We got some more of that undercurrent music where if you didn't realize this part was funny, we're going to make sure you know this part's funny.
Yeah.
And more of the lighting with Kirk's eyes and the transport.
Yeah.
And stuff.
And Kirk got to play like the sitcom character. He's like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Which I guess in some episodes is funnier than it is here. Yeah, he's practically mugging in this episode. I mean, and it could be funnier when he's talking to the colonel or the guy who's got. But that guy talks to more girls than he does.
Colonel,
I'm telling you, Kirk, one more, you need to tell me the deal. And it's like, oh, okay, wow, you're really roughing him up. It's intense interrogation. Yeah, that part was not that much fun either.
What other notes do you have?
That was it. That's all we flew through my. Yeah.
This is going to be like the shortest episode we've ever done, I think.
I think you're right.
But
when Amanda's not here, we don't have things to explain. Although we couldn't have explained what happened in this episode, I don't think.
It would be a little longer because she'd have more different notes that we missed.
Yes.
But
yeah.
In general, I don't think it would have been much. I don't see what else valuable there would be to add. We could just discuss further how bad the mistakes were.
The time travel and all.
But I don't know that we need to. I feel like it's kind of like, okay, just watch this and you'll see what we mean.
There was the touching on, that they're, the UFO phenomena.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting that Spock said they would, I can't remember, Spock or Christopher said, well, we will definitely be mentioned as a UFO.
Mm-hmm. And this time they were all written off as weather balloons and such.
Yeah. Which I thought was interesting.
But what really happened was we were just visited by a bunch of starships.
That then had to slingshot past the sun.
Yeah.
And the people that saw them were... A lot more people probably saw them, but they got beamed up and then got beamed back into their own bodies. Yeah.
It was we get a little bit of insight into Starfleet when they ask him if Starfleet's Navy, and they're like, no, it's a conglomeration. Different armed services across the planet,
That's
not
true.
just Earth, or not just the United States. Yeah. So that was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, the effects look great.
Yeah.
The Earth flybys.
That's
cool.
The effects were my favorite part of the episode.
Yeah. I can't even remember what they looked like when they were crappy.
I thought about tossing them up, but I was like, eh.
Yeah. Because I feel like in the original, you didn't even see the sun. You just saw the ship. You didn't even see the ship go by the sun.
I'm
I
not
just think
sure.
it was just their reactions. And then the episode ends just as abruptly as the Enterprise breaks to stop it, the year they wanted to get back to. Then the episode's like, we're out, we're done.
And could that line have been more cheesy? We're home.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck, Kirk?
Yeah. It didn't seem earned in this one.
And, okay, so here's something else. Uhura mentions that the Starfleet channels are all static when they're in the past.
Yeah.
Are channels where nothing's broadcast, doesn't there have to be something to have static?
I would think so.
Like, if they were just empty channels,
It would just be...
they would just be empty,
Yeah,
right?
I think.
I'm not sure.
And she said something about she was getting ground-to-air communication. Is that what she...
Well, I think that what they were talking about, the radio between
them
the
talking to
plane
each other.
and
That's
the
right.
headquarters.
That's right. Yeah.
In this day and age, this episode couldn't happen because Christopher would have whipped out a smartphone and would have been broadcasting on Facebook Live.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Yeah, seen it.
Exactly. And then they would have had to destroy the entire planet. By the logic of this episode, they would just beamed everybody up and
then killed them and beamed them back down.
Right. Well, you know what? If they could do that and take us back to November 7th, that'd be great.
Oh, man.
while we're adding this in, yeah.
And just get rid of him. Hopefully by the time this airs, President Trump will no longer be in office. I won't count on it.
More wishful thinking on
hopefully.
It's all been tricked.
Yeah. He's had some very bad weeks.
Yes. Yeah. So I definitely won't be changing my girl. We only had what?
We had the one crewman in the crewwoman in the hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
I don't see any need to change. Where are we going to rank this episode above or below Charlie X?
Huh.
Honestly, I would say below.
The way we feel, I feel right now. Yeah, I almost think you have to.
I mean, I didn't like Charlie X.
Because it's almost like we're into the grind of the series. Like, at least Charlie X had, from the perspective of us going back and revisiting and rewatching, was like, okay, we're learning new things.
Yes.
In this episode, we didn't learn a lot.
Episodes in.
Yeah, we didn't learn a lot. We got the slingshot effect, but yeah. It had an effect on my life because I use that term all the time. But other than that,
well,
didn't really.
It's used
And
later.
it's used later.
Better.
Yeah.
Later, better.
What's next week?
Court martial.
All right. I don't remember that one that well right now. I know I will when we watch.
Serving at a court martial on the negligent death of a crewman.
All right.
Yeah, I don't remember that one very well.
Because I always, when I think of court martial, I think of Menagerie.
Yeah, absolutely. Always next week. Sorry you all suffered through it, or if you just listened instead of watching, good for you.
And
Go
if you loved it, let us know why.
Yes, please.
And what you're on. No. You shouldn't insult you. It's not fair. Yeah. See you next time.